Rapid pace out here early in the second. LeVert, hey, knocks it down. Rondo's on the run. Stops, hits Love fires. Cavs reset with a fresh 14. Under 3 to go in the half. Garland works on Holiday. Toss it for a moment, shovels to Mobley. Garland, step back three, drew a foul, knocks it down.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children and boys, you are listening live to episode number 18 of the All Things Cavaliers Podcast. I am your host, Brandon Lewis, alongside my co-host, Joey Snyder.
Can you believe we've been doing this 18 episodes in? It feels like yesterday we just started. And here we are, 18 episodes later. Thank you to everyone who listens. We love doing this. We're going to continue doing this. Bigger, better, more awesome. Brandon, we got a lot, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So topic number one, let's get it going.
We do, and as always, make sure to, of course, follow us on our social media on Twitter at All Things Cavs. But Joey, I think you're going to agree with me on this one because I'm coming in today hot and I'm coming in today fired up because the honeymoon phase for the Cavs are all great. The Cavs are awesome. Nobody can stop us. It is over. I am sick of hearing the talk of, well, this team is good. And, if we get into the playoffs, it'll be fine if we lose to the first round. No. I have seen issues with this team over the last week. Not huge issues, but issues that need to be addressed, such as the slow starts and the starting lineup. It was not an ideal 3-game road trip with the only win coming against Indiana that took a almost miracle comeback to pull off. And I know you got some thoughts on the starting lineup.
So for those, obviously everyone who is listening to the show, Brandon comes in hot. He is full of energy. I kind of a little bit more mellow. I try to, it takes me a little bit to kind of form my thoughts. I am pissed off, Brandon. So as you said, it took a miracle to come back and beat a Pacers team who had just traded their best players, one of them to the Cavs and Caris LeVert. It took almost a historic comeback to win that game. I think we were down 20, and
we were down 21 at one point because we came back down 20 the game in Cleveland.
These slow starts are killing us. On top of that, we go into Philly, a very good 76ers team. And you know what? I have said this all year, and I know some people have disagreed with me lately. Joel Embiid is a top 3 player in the NBA. He is 7 feet tall. He is like 280 pounds. He can shoot threes. He can destroy the rim. He can push people around. He is a center that we have not seen in a very long time. I don't know if there has been a more dominant center in the NBA since Shaquille O'Neal. That's where I'm going to go with, and except Embiid can shoot. That's scary to think about how dominant Shaq was back in the day. And now you have a guy who's, Embiid is 7 foot, Shaq was 7'2", 280 to 300, whatever. But Embiid is a monster. And even though we lost that game, there are no moral victories, but even though we lost that game, it took a 40-point triple-double from Joel Embiid to beat us. So that, I guess, if you're gonna have any moral victories, is it took one man to do that, to beat us. However, he still beat us, and we cannot let that happen. We have to not only try and stifle him a little bit, but take away any of the weapons he has around him. So I was okay. We come back against the Pacers, lost against the Sixers. Okay, we lost against the Sixers. We meet them 3 more times this year, so we're gonna get plenty of chances to play them. And then we go to Atlanta. And I'm like, okay, let's get this win. Let's head into the All-Star break on a high note. And what do the Cleveland Cavaliers do? They play Atlanta at Atlanta's own game which is who can score the most points. They're with no defense played. This Cavs team, week in, week out, every single game has been defense and running in transition. And what were they not doing? There has been no defense in the last 2 games. This is something that needs to be fixed. I'm glad the All-Star break is here right now because, as I said a couple of podcasts ago, it would only take a couple of games for this Cavs team to slide. And I think the 6th seed, I mean, you got the Celtics who keep winning. You got Toronto who keeps winning. We're 2.5 games back out of first. We're still in the 4th seed, but we're only 2 games up on the 7th seed, I believe. So this break could not have come soon enough because we have to regroup. JB and the coaching staff, for as much praise as we have given them all year, and they still deserve it. I'm not taking anything away from them, not taking anything away from the players. They have to start figuring out the starting lineup because, excuse me, Dean Wade should not be in the starting lineup. We traded for Caris LeVert, a guy who can create his own shot, maybe one of the only Cavs who can create his own shot, but outside of Darius Garland. When I say that, I mean on a consistent basis. And he's coming off the bench. Why? I get you want to integrate him into the system. He's been a fringe all-star player, a starter his entire career. He's 27 years old. He's been playing fantastic defense, and you have him coming off the bench and starting Dean Wade. What? You need to get off to some fast starts. This is a big reason, in my opinion, why we're not getting off to these fast starts, because we're not putting the best players we have in the starting rotation. And it's, in my opinion, really screwing with the bench. Because who are the guys coming off the bench? And they coined the term the Cavalanche. Who are the guys that started that? Kevin Love, Cedi Osman. You're screwing with the bench, and it's killing you in these games. They got to fix it. They got to fix it, Brandon. I'm telling you.
So, Joey, thank you so much. And one of the reasons why I love you as a co-host, because you are a realist. You do not accept mediocrity. And my goodness, yes, I share the complete frustration with you. I agree with you, by the way, on Joel Embiid. I think he is a top 3 player in the NBA as well. Reminds me so much of Shaq. I love that comparison. But man, oh man, for a team that going into this road trip was number 1, let me repeat that, number 1 in the NBA in defensive rating. I don't care who is on the court. 47 points in the first quarter to Indiana. Now, I get it. You shut them down 3 quarters, but it took a miracle comeback. It took Rajon Rondo playing maybe the best game of the season with Darius Garland out to pull that victory out. And then you turn around, and I don't want to hear, oh, we were tired. Guess what? Philadelphia played on a back-to-back as well. And their leading scorer, the person who is probably the front runner right now for the MVP in the league, got a triple-double. It wasn't just he got 40 and 15. He also had 10 assists, which is a rarity for Joel Embiid. I think he has less than 5 triple-doubles his whole career. And then you turn around, and against the Atlanta Hawks, that game felt like it was a game where, it was a high-scoring game, but really you could tell, especially late in the third quarter and into that fourth quarter, Atlanta took the game over. And you know what? All these fans are crying. Trae Young got all these calls. He shot more free throws at one point than the old Cavs team combined. Well, first of all, Trae Young is an all-star. He is a superstar. He's going to get those calls. We've seen it with James Harden for the last 5 years. Second of all, you can't complain about officials because you didn't deserve to win the game. We have to get out of this mindset as a Cavs community, as a Cavs fan base. Folks, the expectations have changed for this team. And it's okay to admit it that, hey, at the beginning of the year, Myself, I thought we were going to be garbage. I thought we were going to be trash. I thought we were going to be in the lottery again. If you listen to me, which I just posted this week on my own private YouTube channel, a look back of our first episode of the All Things Cleveland Cavaliers podcast, Joey was obviously way more right than me in his predictions when it came to how this team was going to be this year. But you know what? The expectations have changed. And in my opinion, the expectation for this team right now is to at least make the Eastern Conference Finals. And you're not doing that with the way this team's playing defense right now.
When we start talking about the playoffs, and we talked about this, I want to say last week or the week before. I'm sorry, we've done so many podcasts now. I know it's been recent. I hate when people say, oh, it's good if they just go to the playoffs. No, if you are good enough to go to the playoffs, you are playing for a championship. Now, everyone's saying, oh, they're a year away. If you can make the playoffs this year, you are good enough to win the freaking NBA Finals. You can win the championship, but you have to get your ducks in a row. Dean Wade, as much as I like Dean Wade, there are certain players who play better off of the bench. And we have talked about this. I love Cedi Osman. I have said, great player. I love that the Cavs re-signed him. Brings a ridiculous amount of energy off the bench. Him and Kevin Love together are just an amazing 1-2 punch off of that Cavs bench. But he's not as good when he starts. I don't know what it is. When he comes off the bench, he brings this ridiculous energy. I've said he's in my opinion, one of the top bench players in the league. He just explodes around him. Same with Kevin Love, who we think should be the sixth man of the year. You're messing with that chemistry when you are bringing Caris LeVert off of the bench with them. He is a starter. Why I don't understand. Dean Wade was at the end of the bench for the longest time. Why is he now starting when we traded for the guy who puts up 20 points a game? It makes zero sense to me. We need to get out to fast starts. We need to run in transition and play defense. That has been our game all year long. And it just seems like these last three games, super sluggish. We had to, like you said, we've talked about, had to pull out a miracle against Indiana and then got into a shootout with Atlanta, which is not our game whatsoever. And you can complain all you want that Trae Young's a star, Joel Embiid's the MVP. The Cavs are a win by committee team. 7, 6, 7, 8 guys a night are in double figures in points. That's how they win ball games. Excuse me, because you cannot guard every single one of the Cavs players that are on the court. I would put a Cavs starting five of Garland, Okoro, LeVert, Mobley, Allen, or Markkanen in there. I don't know. I'll put them up against any team in this league. You cannot guard all 5 of those guys. But I promise you, we can guard all of yours.
And to your point, by the way, our Cleveland Cavaliers, and we will get into this a little bit later in the show, now have more All-Stars on our team than the Atlanta Hawks. We now have more All-Stars on our team than the Philadelphia 76ers had when we played them Saturday night. Now, I get it. They didn't have James Harden. It may change the way they play the next time we see them because Harden will probably be in there. Regardless, you cannot. It's okay if you lose a game here or there, but this team is in such a dogfight. This seeding here is going to be really important. And at the beginning of February, I laid it out. I said the Cavs have 10 games this month. They must win at least 7 of them. They have to go at least 7-3 this month in order to legitimately be on pace, because our March schedule, which I'm not a big schedule watcher, but if you take a look at it, we got the Heat and the Bulls on the road back-to-back early in the month. Huge 2 games right there. You got another matchup with Philadelphia in there. I believe you have another matchup with Charlotte in there early in the month. The Nuggets are coming to town. Dallas is coming to town. Those are legitimate playoff teams. This schedule is not going to get easier. Right now, the Cavs are 4-3 with 3 games to go. We got the Pistons, we got the Wizards, and we got the Timberwolves after the All-Star break, which we will break down next week. This team, I could argue, since the game against the Milwaukee Bucks, when we came in here the next day clamoring, that was the game we needed to see if this team was legitimate contenders. Ever since then, they've been reading the newspapers, they've been reading the headlines online, hearing about how great they are, and JB Bickerstaff has said it. This team's hearing it, and they start believing it, and it's in their heads. Well, guess what? When you get beat down like that, I hope this team comes back post All-Star break. They figure it out. They figure out the lineup. Again, who knows? Markkanen comes back. He'll probably be the starter. If you have to make a decision, I would think between Okoro and LeVert of who would start. But we'll get to that bridge when we get there. I just hope this team comes out of the break and just gets ready to play playoff basketball in March.
You know, kind of going back to what I said, and I didn't really get a chance to finish my thought. Like I said, last podcast, the podcast before, I said, you know, there's a couple of games that if they lose, it's a slippery slope. And if this All-Star break, to me, if this All-Star break wasn't right now, I think there's a few more games that we would have lost fairly easily, because they are trying to figure it out. So this All-Star break could not have come at a better time. You don't want to start going down that road of questioning yourself. These guys know who they are. They know what they excel at. They know what they are good at. They know how good they are, and they believe in each other. So thank God for this All-Star break. They get a chance to, you know, get a little bit of rest, regroup. The coaching staff can figure out where they want to put certain players. And you know what? I'm going to throw this out there. No, obviously I'm not the coach. I'm just, you know, we just talk about the Cavs. If you get Markkanen back, Darius Garland, LeVert, Markkanen, Mobley, Allen. Those are the 5. And the reason I'm telling you that right now is this. As much as everyone wants to talk about Okoro, and I love Isaac Okoro, we dogged him. I shouldn't say we dogged him, but we were rough on him earlier, you know, in the maybe podcast 4 through 7 or so. It's because the kid's 20 years old. I understand he needs to develop an offensive game, but he is a lockdown defender. But Caris LeVert has surprised the heck out of me with his defense. Not only is he a great offensive player, he can create his own shot. He's struggled a little bit thus far, knocking down to 3, but he has hit a lot of big threes when we've needed them in the few games that he's played. But the idea of having Love and Osman and Okoro coming off of the bench is just like, that to me is like blows my mind. Like, you can give people a rest. If you need to bring Okoro in, lock down D on another team's best player, however you want to do it. But teams, and this kind of goes back to Markkanen getting hurt. Teams, I still don't think teams have figured out how to defend 3 7-footers. And that might be why the Cavs are where they're at right now, because with him out, they've had different rotations in, and they're trying to figure it out. Whereas when Markkanen was in, teams still couldn't figure out, how do we guard 3 7-footers? And then obviously Garland has been out with a back injury, kind of in and out of the lineup the last few weeks. And we're switching between Okoro and LeVert and Wade. So this is the perfect time to get some rest, regroup, pull it together, put out your starting lineup, get your bench straight, go into these games, because I'm not scared of March. I know how tough that schedule is going to be. We all do. And everyone's talking about it. They got a really tough March schedule. You know what that means? That's opportunity. That doesn't mean that we're going to go out and we're going to lay a goose egg and we're going to lose. those games are the games that are going to pull us or can pull us into first place. We need to get over that hump. And it seems like every time they've had the opportunity, there's just something that goes wrong. They don't pull out the game. And it's, games against the Pistons, games against the Rockets, these games, like you have said, they have to win. They're not winning. Get everything straight. Pull out these next 3 games that we should win. These games we have to win. And then you go into March full of fire. Like these guys know. Play for each other, play for the fans, play for the land, get those wins against the Heat, get the wins against the Bulls, against the Sixers, against the Mavericks, against every good team. Let the world know you're ready because we know that you guys are ready, and let's get ready for the playoffs.
Let's let them know. Let's do that. So I want to send a message to not only the fans out there, but the players and the coaching staff of this team. Because as you guys know, me and Joey's objective here, we are not here to dog on the Cavs. We are not here to, say everything is all wonderful. We are here to tell legitimate, objective news and opinions about our basketball team. Folks, like I said earlier in today's podcast, it is okay to admit that expectations have changed. If you don't think that a top 4 seed in the NBA should have expectations to meet the Eastern Conference Finals, then you need to go find another team and you need to go root for another team, because I don't know what you are looking at here. We've seen it with our own eyes how legitimate this Cavs team can be. They need to start playing like it. Second of all, a message to the coaching staff. You traded a first-round pick for Caris LeVert, a first-round pick. I do not dream of a team that trades a first-round pick in this year's draft, by the way, that says, oh, you know what? He's a bench player. You generally do not do that. They are generally the piece or the missing piece. So I agree with you. LeVert's defense has been better than expected, in my opinion, since he's got here. I think you got to have Garland, LeVert, Markkanen, Mobley, Allen in that starting lineup. And then the bench unit. It doesn't even have to be a unit, as we talked about before. You can intertwine. You can put, LeVert or Okoro at the 3. Bring in the other one off the bench as a true 6 man. You can put Love at the 4. You could put even Dean Wade off the bench. There's so many different combinations this team can use to keep everybody fresh. I think you're right that they don't know without marketing how to really structure their lineup, because their lineup has been structured all year around these 3 7-footers. And so when you have 2, it changes a little bit of the way you play. And, Jetty has played point guard this year at one point in time. So I am just a little perplexed and flustered as to if I'm the coach, and again, it is our job to be objective. I have compared it to obviously the great Guardians manager, Terry Francona. He's a Hall of Fame, probably the best MLB manager of all time. We have second guessed him on occasions. It's okay to second guess the coaching staff, folks. It's okay that everything is not lowy dandy 100% of the time. Don't you think that it's okay, if LeVert or Okoro misses the game, this is the guy that steps into the starting lineup, or if Garland misses the game, okay, this is the clear backup, or Markkanen or Mobley. That should be set so the players know. If you don't know your own rotation, if the players don't know their rotation, how are they going to be able to figure it out? It's like they're figuring out on the court on the fly, and here we are in February.
Yeah, it's killing us. Like you said, Jetty played point guard at one point, and the crazy thing about that game was he only scored 7 points, but he had 12 assists.
Exactly.
So you have Rajon Rondo, you have Goodwin, so you have backup point guards. You can't play with the lineup this much, in my opinion. And I'm not a coach, so what do I know? But it just seems like playing with the lineup this much, this far into the season, has really hurt I don't want to say chemistry, but the flow of the Cavs. You had Osman at point guard, and then you had Goodwin, and then you had Rondo, and then Dean Wade was starting, and then I think Karis LeVert started a game. Then Okoro was playing the 3, then Okoro was playing the 2. You got to have these guys have to know where they stand. If someone goes out, this person steps up. If Garland's out, Rondo's in. If Okoro's out, Chetty's in, or you can mix probably LeVert, Chetty there. There needs to be a solid plan in place for when guys go down. And because when there's not, then it's me and you, and we've had podcasts where we're guessing who we think is going to start in a starting lineup. It shouldn't be like that. If this person goes down, this person's coming into, because why have backup point guards? Why have backups at all? I mean, why are you going to start your one of the bench players in the league at point guard he needs to change his entire mindset. And then you're kind of left with no one to back him up at the wing, which the Cavs are short on, truthfully. And
the curious decision too is like, okay, so Garland missed the game Friday with back tightness, which is like, okay, he plays Wednesday, but then he doesn't play Friday. I took it as like maybe they're resting him because they want to play him against Philly. So Rondo plays, obviously plays a lot of minutes. I think he plays like 30 plus minutes. And then I get it from the prospect of like Rondo's a veteran, but then Saturday they rest Rondo. Like he plays 0 minutes. And Garland's out there battling with what we think is a bad back. And it's like, why is he playing 35 minutes when you just rushed him the night before because he had a bad back?
I'm going to say this. For as much as we are talking about this, and this is something that I think most people have said, here's the other side of that coin. This All-Star break. I have 100% faith in this coaching staff that coming out of this break, they are going to know exactly the lineups that they want, the starting lineup, who's on the bench, who they're going to rotate in during what. I know that this coaching staff has a plan in place. They had to play with the lineups a little bit when LeVert came in. Garland being out didn't help. Markkanen still being out didn't help. So they were put in a tough position. I know the players have played, the best that they had, that they can. They lost a couple. I get it. No one's happy about the losses. We should have beat the Hawks. We should have been more, we were fairly competitive against the Sixers. We lost by 10. We're going to stop this skid, though. I have full faith in this coaching staff. I have full faith in this team and these players playing for everything that they're playing for, having fun on that court. You can see it every single game. I know that after the All-Star break, they're going to come out and, oh boy, if Markkanen's healthy, if Darius Garland is healthy, if we get everyone back, oh boy, I am not scared for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I am scared for any team who has to play the Cleveland Cavaliers coming out of the All-Star break.
Completely agree with you. Speaking of the All-Star break, Commissioner Adam Silver, I am glad you finally got a new TV. I am glad you finally took whatever glasses you were wearing that blinded your eyes and decided, you know what, James Harden, he's not going to play in the All-Star game. Let's just get, I don't know, the second best center in the Eastern Conference on the All-Star team. Congratulations to one J.A. Jared Allen. Joey, I have been looking at my ceiling here saying, please, 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 for the last 2.5 weeks, get J.A. on this All-Star team. And finally, Monday, they tapped me on the shoulder. They said, Brandon, we're going to give you and Joey what you guys have been calling for. Jared Allen is an All-Star.
It's about damn time. You know what? Getting snubbed twice was bad enough. If it would have been a third time, I would have gone to New York and me and Adam Silver would have had some conversations, because you cannot snub Jared Allen 3 times. This guy has willed this Cavs team into some victories this year. His stats, as I have talked about in previous podcasts, and in the article I wrote for Believeland Media LLC, guys, go check it out. A lot of great articles on there from everyone that works for Believeland. His stats off the charts. He is a leader of this team. He is everything that you could possibly want in a starting center. He has arrived. He is no longer a good center. He is Jared Allen, the all-star center from the Cleveland Cavaliers. And what's more, he's going to be with Darius Garland on Team LeBron.
Yes, sir.
When Jared Allen and Darius, and you know it's gonna happen.
Yes,
it's gotta when Jared Allen and Darius Garland are on the floor and with LeBron James, I in my head I can see it. Like, a timeout's called. They bring out Jared Allen, they bring out Garland, LeBron comes to the floor, and that roof on the Rock is going to absolutely explode. I mean, I can't even imagine how loud it's going to get when those 3 players are on the court together.
Bron tossing it alley-oop to J.A. They come down, no look past the Garland, fake up for free, bang. Whole crowd's going crazy. I can see it too. LeBron's already posting the eyeball emoji on Instagram, doing his troll little stuff. But I'm so glad J.A. got in, because as I texted you earlier this week, and we are about to get into this now, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, and Darius Garland are going to represent the Cavaliers in the skills competition. And I told you, I said, J.A. better get in. And this was like right before they announced that he was going to get in. I said, he better get into the All-Star game, because I personally do not like it when players are invited to All-Star weekend that are not All-Stars. Why are you calling it All-Star weekend if we don't have every single All-Star and only the All-Stars represented on the floor? You look at the home run derby in baseball, folks. Everybody that swings in that home run derby every single year, they're playing in the game the following night. They don't just use big mashers and then don't play them in the All-Star game. That's not the way it works. So I am glad for J.A. to get that announcement. But back to the skills competition, you got Team Cavs, you got Team Rookie with Kate Cunningham, Josh Giddey, and Scotty Barnes, as well as Team the Giannis brothers. I got to be honest with you, Joey. As much as I would love to see our team Cavs win, from an objective standpoint, I think they're going to finish in second place because it is a shooting competition as well. I don't trust Jared Allen shooting. I don't trust Evan Mobley shooting what I believe will be a 3-point shot. I'm going to go in and I'm going to pick Team Rookie. I think that, they have a lot. I think Cunningham can shoot. Barnes can obviously shoot. Giddey, they have all the passing skills as well. So as much as I would love to see our Cavs walk away with the skills competition, I think they're good, but I think our lack of shooting with our big men may be our downfall.
I'm going to take Team Cavs because I don't care. I think that this is what a weird skills challenge. Like you got the hometown team, great. Then you got the rookies, okay, that makes sense. And then the Antetokounmpo brothers, like what? It's kind of like what a weird thing. But I'm joking about the I don't care thing, just for the record. I just wanted to see Brandon's reaction.
By the way, I'm not joking because I really don't care. Like, I'm not joking.
I want to see the Cavs win everything. I don't care. I don't care if it's a sack race. I want to see the Cavs win.
Listen, my record is on the line. I've been so bad predicting this year. I got to get one right objectively. But yes.
Knowing our luck, the Antetokounmpo brothers are going to win now.
Probably.
But I know they talked to Jay about it, and he said he was practicing his 3-point shot. I'm like, oh God, that is that good? Is that a good thing? Look, Mobley can hit the 3. We've seen him hit 3s. He just doesn't take that many of them. I do want to say this though, and kind of getting back to what you said about the players. I could understand 3-point contest. You're not going to have all-stars in that because there's a lot of really good shooters in this league who that's their specialty, but they're not all-star players. They're great 3-point shooters, but they're not all-star players.
Like Patty Mills.
Well, yeah, Patty Mills, or there's a ton of players who are shooting over 40% from three, but aren't all-stars. Slam dunk contest. If I thought hard enough, I could probably remember who's in it because the names are actually pretty abysmal this year.
I'm about to give them to you in a couple of minutes, so.
But I don't think not any of them are all-stars. So you can throw down ridiculous dunks doesn't mean you're an all-star. So I understand that aspect of it. But when it came to the skills challenge, I don't know if it was just me. I kind of felt like they almost created that for Jared Allen. So it was like a participation trophy. And that is what I hated. I hated that. Like, if you're going to do a skills challenge and you're going to do team CAVS, why would you not put like Mobley as your big man, Darius Garland, and then a wing or something like that?
Right. Even LeVert.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think they announced it before we even had LeVert.
Well, LeVert or Okoro even.
I mean, yeah, it could have Osman. It could have been anyone. But they picked two big men, Jared Allen. It felt like a participation trophy. This guy has been doing everything. I mean, 29 and 22 against Charlotte. I was at the game when they played the Spurs. He was 15 and 14. I mean, he's constantly, he's 7th in the league in offensive rebounding, 8th in the league in total rebounds, 8th or 9th in the league in blocks. Like 54. Me and you talked about this off the podcast, and I want to bring this up. He's like 54th in points, in total points. And people are like, oh, well, that's, he's 54th. Okay, so if there's 30 teams in the NBA, that means that he would be the second best scorer on every single team.
And he's a big man. Like, it's hard for him to score.
Exactly. I mean, that's, he's like the, 1 or 2 on any team in the NBA. So I don't want to hear this crap about, he can't score. I mean, he's, 54th in the league. So it felt like it was just like, okay, well, he's not going to be. No, he is an all-star. Thank God that Adam Silver came to his senses, because there were some other good picks out there. Jaylen Brown, Siakam. You can make the case for both those guys. I'm not going to argue with you. Anyone could have got in. I think that there's maybe a player or two that shouldn't have gotten in. But Jared Allen 100% deserved it. He got in. The Cavs have 2 all-stars. Can't wait for this game now.
To your point, what really changed my mind on All-Star Weekend and as a whole was the pandemic. Because we didn't get, the MLB All-Star game that season. Of course, the NBA All-Star game happened right before COVID hit. So when we didn't get the MLB All-Star game, I was like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I don't miss it. Like, I would not be opposed to just naming the guys and not doing these, the game, the competition. I understand why they're doing it. It's a huge moneymaker. Cleveland's going to make a lot of money this weekend. It's good for downtown Cleveland. But just as a fan, if this wasn't in Cleveland, if it was in any other city, as a fan, I'd be like, yeah, I'll maybe turn it on here and there. Like, maybe I'll watch the fourth quarter of the All-Star game when it gets somewhat competitive, when there's not layups and alley-oops being tossed for 3 straight quarters. But it almost feels forced nowadays. And, in the mid-2000s, you had a ton of obviously great All-Stars. Not saying there's not great guys this year, but not a lot of guys want to participate anymore in the dunk, in the skills. You're not getting your big names. You're getting a lot of young kids in those competitions. Of course, we all remember the amazing Vince Carter, the Nate Robinsons, the Dwight Howards of the world in the dunk contest. And we just don't get that anymore. And so from my perspective, when everyone's asked me, are you excited for All-Star Weekend? You know what I said this year? I'm excited for Cleveland. I think it's going to be great for downtown Cleveland. Am I excited for any of the activities or anything? To be honest with you, no, I'm not really, but I'm going to watch it because it's our job to, really analyze and study. And I'm sure that we'll come back and we'll react to it next week, but it's really nothing special anymore, in my opinion.
I see, and I'm old enough to remember. I'm not that old, but old enough to remember Jordan in the dunk contest.
Yes.
I mean, Dominique Wilkins.
At the time of this recording, by the way, really quick, happy birthday to Michael Jordan. Today's his birthday.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan. My God.
Send him a shout out.
And I mean, remember Larry Nance was in the dunk contest. He dunked the two. I mean, that was iconic, dunking the two balls. He was still playing for Cleveland. So, you used to have these larger than life, the superstars in these contests, and now it's I think the Vince Carter, that was a big one. Then even I think the most recent was probably Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine. Those were great dunk contests, and those weren't that long ago. Those were only a couple years ago. But the last few years has definitely felt like who are these guys? So why don't you go ahead and give us the four names just so I can be like,
okay,
and not care.
So representing the New York Knicks is Obi Toppin, who I believe was a runner-up. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but he was a runner-up.
I think it was last year. I think he was a rookie last year.
It is Cole Anthony from the Orlando Magic. It is Jalen Green from the Houston Rockets. And then Juan Toscano Anderson, who I told you probably last week, I had to even look up for Golden State. I never even heard of the guy.
I heard of him. I just didn't know that he could dunk. I knew he could dunk. I didn't know that he was some spectacular dunk. I mean, I've watched a bunch of Golden State games. I've never seen him, wreck the rim. Yeah. I've never seen three guys converge on him and then he wrecks the rim like Isaac Okoro. I've never seen that before. Why isn't Okoro in the dunk contest?
Yeah, come on, Silver again. Get that new TV. Get those glasses. Get those new glasses, man.
I'm not even being a homer here. He legitimately dunked on three.
He did.
There's a poster. There's a poster of it.
Dunked on Giannis.
Mobley Markkanen baptized Jokic. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know Markkanen's hurt, but still, I mean, I'm not being a homer here. Okoro legit. There's a poster. Go if you haven't seen it.
We just gave you free legit posters that we don't even know Juan Toscano Anderson can dunk. What alone he's in the dunk contest.
I mean, I can understand. I can see Jalen Green. Jalen Green can hop out of the building. He's a rookie. Same with Obi Toppin. He can. He's got crazy. He's crazy athletic. Could throw down some huge dunks. I didn't know Cole Anthony could get up there either like that.
I'm with you there.
It's still. I'm still gonna watch it. I think it's still gonna be fun. I mean, these are NBA players. They know what they're doing. Obviously, they're in the dunk contest because they can do some crazy stuff that me and you have never seen them do in a game. So it's still going to be a good time. But I am, and I don't think you're as excited as I am. I am very excited for the All-Star game itself, just because I want to see Garland and Allen and LeBron on the court. And the one thing that I really like about the All-Star games lately, and if you do go back, the All-Star games they never really were super competitive. They've always been more fun, but they were a little bit more competitive, in the early 90s, late 80s, as opposed to now, where now it's who can do the craziest stuff, put up the most points. So it's fun to watch because you really get to see, instead of the competitive side of all these guys, they're just having a good time going out there and balling. It's almost like, you go to the park and you play hoops with your friends. So that's the fun part of it. It doesn't matter who gets the MVP. It doesn't matter who wins the game. It's just, it's fun to sit down. I know me and my daughter are going to sit down. We're going to watch it and, we're going to see some fun stuff. So it's going to be a good time.
For sure. I mean, it is President's Day weekend. Kids got the day off of school the next day, so it's going to be a fun time. Before I get to your official prediction on that, let me give you the list of the 3-point shooters. We'll quickly just make a prediction on that one. So representing the 3-point contest will be Fred VanVleet, Desmond Bain, Luke Kennard, Zach LaVine, CJ McCollum, Patty Mills, the big man in the contest, Karl Anthony Towns, and in my opinion, the man who probably should be the favorite, the man that we just watched on Tuesday night, put up over 40 points against the Cleveland Cavaliers, Trae Young. Those are your 8.
That is a really good 3-point contest. I'm actually impressed. That's pretty good, with the exception of Karl Anthony Towns. Has he been hitting threes that I haven't been seeing?
I believe he's a pretty good 3-point shooter. I go with his 3-point shot.
Yeah, I know. I've seen him hit threes. I just didn't know 3-point that he'd be the 3-point contest. That's pretty, but that's actually a pretty stacked lineup for a 3-point contest, if I'm being honest. I had not seen that prior to Brandon just telling me that right now. So that will be a good contest to watch. I'm actually fairly excited for the 3-point contest now. I still think Larry Bird will win. He's retired now. Okay, sorry, got some bad information. He'd still win though.
Oh, Towns, yeah, wow. Towns is shooting 41% from free this season.
Wow. Hey, you know what? Congrats to the Timberwolves. They've been playing real tough lately. I think they're in the playoffs right now in the West.
I believe they be the 7 or 8 seed right now. And you know what? Anthony Edwards got hurt. Unfortunately, looked like he sprained his ankle, and it cost me a match of my fantasy basketball league. I'm not bash Anthony Edwards, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. I will pick Trae Young just because I think he's obviously the sharpest shooter. He's the favorite, but I can see Desmond Bane, who's also my fantasy basketball team, by the way, really good 3-point shooter. So I'm rooting for the guys. Trae Young as well. So all the guys in my fantasy basketball team are pretty much in this 3-point contest. So
listen,
that's what I'm rooting for.
I'm not a homer, as I've said 5 times throughout this podcast. And with that being said, I'm taking CJ McCollum. The kid from Cleveland is who I'm taking in the 3-point contest. This is my completely unbiased opinion.
This is going to be my homer prediction, Joey. It is going to be in the NBA All-Star game. I am predicting the MVP to be not a current Cleveland Cavalier. But I am predicting, because I think this man in front of this crowd, he is a marketing guru. He thinks he's cute. He knows exactly what he's doing. LeBron Raymond James, born 12/30/1984, to one Gloria James, as some people say, who are Lulu LeBron and think he is the GOAT. I think LeBron James is going to put on a show in his quote-unquote palace, in his kingdom, because as we know, the Lakers stink. Everybody's saying LeBron don't have it anymore. Blah, blah, blah. LeBron's going to be on. LeBron's going to come back. LeBron's going to show Cleveland how great he still is. I'm telling you, I can see it now. I can also see potentially Darius Garland going off like Kyrie Irving did in 2014, winning the All-Star Game MVP. Those are my 1 and 2. I give the edge to LeBron, but obviously we're both open that a Cleveland Cavalier walks away with the All-Star Game MVP.
And me and you, Brandon, we agree on a lot of things. I disagree with you 100%. Not on your prediction on who's going to win the MVP, because it's, it could be LeBron. But I'm going to say this. I love LeBron James. He brought us a championship. LeBron James is not in the Cavaliers anymore. This is no longer his kingdom. This is the kingdom of Darius Garland, of Jared Allen, of Kevin Love, who stuck with the Cavs after everything broke down. Karis LeVert, Chetty Osman. This is no longer the LeBron era. This is not his kingdom. His kingdom is out west. This is the jungle now, baby. This is a brand new animal, an animal that people don't know how to handle when we're fully healthy. We're going to get fully healthy. I can't wait to watch the All-Star game. And more importantly, after the All-Star game, when the Cavs start destroying every team that they face, that is what I'm looking forward to. No longer LeBron's kingdom, brand new animal.
To your point, LeBron's kingdom is not this building by name, because he's never been a Cleveland Cavalier when it was renamed the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. So there you go. That is our kind of soliloquy as we head here into All-Star Weekend. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up here for today. Next week's going to be a very interesting time here at All Things Cavaliers. We're not going to promise you who the guest will be because we don't even know yet if this guest is possible. Could be somebody from Believe Media, could be somebody else. Hint, potentially. But go ahead, Joey. I'm going to let you have the last words.
I want to give a big shout out. And, this is kind of broad and, covers a lot of people, but a lot of really good talks lately with the Facebook group, the 2021-2022 Cleveland Cavaliers. Just really good people on there. So, supporting the show. Had some really good talks about the Sixers game, the Hawks game. There's so many people who love this team and great people, and to just have this great community where you're able to talk. Not it's not a toxic fan base for the Cleveland Cavaliers. When they're good, we love them. When they're bad, we love them. We just don't go to the games unless the tickets are free. No offense, but. Having the Cavs being good again is something that we absolutely needed after the other sports teams in this town kind of went by the wayside a little bit. So we have that hope in Cleveland and we needed it. Great people. If you guys want to check them out, just go to Facebook, 2021-2022 Cleveland Cavaliers. A lot of people from Believe Media are part of the group as well. So, big shout out to them. And, there's not much left else to say. Excited for the All-Star break. So, Brandon, only one thing left to do, buddy.
Don't forget to let them know. We'll see you guys next week for another episode of All Things Cavaliers.